This information is based on my personal research into publicly accessible information. It does not represent the views or opinions of any studios I have worked for in the past or will work for in the future. It's based on some educated guesswork, so it shouldn't be used as gospel under any circumstance. I just find the economics of blockbusters fascinating and tend to obsess over numbers. Disclaimer over. Okay, we're both here for the same reason. Animated movies come and go. Some are smash hits, and others, well, not so much. Today, I'm proud to present some numbers I've been crunching that I think are pretty fascinating. Strap in, break out the calculator, and brew that coffee, because we're about to figure out which animation studio may be the most profitable. Now, before I spoil the ending, I want you to understand my process for finding this information, as well as what the limitations of my calculations are. I got most of my numbers from Box Office Mojo, and what I couldn't find there, I would usually find a good estimate from thenumbers.com. Most of this research was done in November of 2018, so it's entirely possible there are shifts between then and now, but those differences would be slight. The first thing I did look at was Box Office Mojo's list of top-earning animated films from 1980 to 2018. From there, I only looked at the top 50. It's easy to see how much money a movie made, but this list is a little misleading, as it is domestic returns only, doesn't include promotional marketing costs, and doesn't account for inflation. I was also really interested in offsetting the cost of a film against how much it pulled in to determine how much the movie actually made after paying for itself. I'll use Disney's The Lion King as an example. It came out in 1994 and had a production budget of $45 million. Using an inflation calculator and adjusting that to 2018 USD, that's closer to $76 million. Still, pretty modest for a wide-release animated film budget by today's standards. Now, the general rule of thumb with Hollywood economics is to double the production budget in order to account for the exorbitant cost of global marketing and promotion for a wide-release feature. This brings our speculated adjusted cost for The Lion King to about $153 million. Next, we have to figure out how much money the movie actually made. Box Office Mojo tells us that it pulled in a worldwide cumulative of about $968 million, which, when adjusted for inflation, comes to roughly $1.6 billion. Seriously. Now, if we subtract the estimated $153 million it cost to make the movie, this gives The Lion King a $1.4 billion surplus. And people wonder why Disney is strip mining its classic library for remakes. Now, breaking down the top 50 most profitable animated films like this certainly took a lot of time. I wanted to do the top 100, but I kinda have a life sometimes. However, a link to the results of my findings is available in the video description box should you want to see how my calculated list differs from Box Office Mojo's. Now that I have each film's actual profit calculated, I separated them into studios represented in the top 50. This includes Disney Animation, DreamWorks, Sony Animation, 20th Century, Pixar, Illumination, Blue Sky, and Warner Brothers. Here we are, the moment of truth. Once we add up each studio's pure profit, we'll finally know the answer. Which animation studio makes the most money? Adding up the pure profit returns led to the following ranking. Pixar's on top, followed by Disney Animation. No real surprises there. Illumination comes in third, which I didn't really expect personally, followed by DreamWorks, Blue Sky, Sony Animation, Warner Brothers, and 20th Century. The biggest loser here? That's probably DreamWorks, to be honest. They have the second highest number of films on the board, yet come in 5th place when it comes to pure profit. So the simple answer to the question of which animation studio makes the most money is a resounding Pixar. However, let's make this a bit more fair. Using our new numbers, let's average a studio's total pure profit by how many movies from that studio made it into the top 50 earners. The result changes the rankings significantly. Now first place goes to Disney Animation, while Blue Sky of all studios takes second place. Third place goes to Illumination, and fourth is a seriously downgraded Pixar. DreamWorks drops a rank, followed by 20th Century, Sony Animation, and Warner Brothers rounding out the bottom. Why the big drop here for Pixar? They have the most movies in the top 50 earners, and those movies tend to vary wildly in terms of pure profit. This drives down their average. Additionally, based on what I saw of their production budgets, they do tend to spend much more on their films than other studios do. Inversely, Illumination has tiny budgets and huge returns. I would argue they could spend some of those returns on better scripts in the future, but hey, people keep showing up, so what do I know? Just for kicks, I also averaged the Rotten Tomatoes scores for all the films on the list by studio, and, as suspected, Pixar very narrowly sneaks past Disney Animation in the battle for first and second place. Next up is 20th Century, Warner Brothers, and DreamWorks with Illumination, Blue Sky, and then Sony Animation shoring up the bottom of the barrel. I've crunched a lot of numbers and converted a ton of factors, so what's the big takeaway? For me, it's this. If you want to consistently get a high level of profit on films, both cumulatively and individually, as well as hit a high mark for critical acclaim, Disney Animation is and always has been the king of profit. This has been Cinema Cemetery, digging 6 feet deeper into the dirt of filmmaking.